This could very well be the most disgusting pay-to-win team for Fire Night 10 hard mode. We're putting up 3 Gnuts and Alaz. I mean, they just destroy the Fire Night without even a second thought. What's going on, guys? Blazing here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again on another Raid Shadow Legends video. And man, this team is so much fun. We're going to be working with 3 Gnuts and Alaz. Now, Alaz is one of the best mythicals in my opinion. I would pick him over Siegfried any single day. And then the triple Gnuts, I mean, if you pulled 1, you pulled 2, then you pulled your 3rd, you're like, do I build him or not? The answer is yes. And the team is just so disgusting. So disgusting. But so much fun to watch. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoy it. And if you do, consider subscribing to the channel and maybe clicking that like button down below and letting me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, like I said, guys, it's not a free-to-play friendly team. It is definitely a pay-to-win, but we do have 3 Gnuts, we do have an Alaz, and we do have our Padrig. Now, again, by no means necessary are the builds going to be achievable for everybody. This is endgame content. This is whale content. This is obviously a whale account, but you can see here Alaz just destroying the first wave. Man, he's just so strong. Gnuts coming in, dealing with the second wave, no problem. Right? We're at 15 seconds already to the boss, 7 turns. Here's where we get to have a lot of the fun. This is honestly the most time-consuming part of it because the Gnuts have such a slow animation. But you know what? It still works. It's fun. It's fun. Here we go. Big part right here was Padrig not actually taking a second turn before the boss, right? That's a big thing because if he does and uses ally attack, we're gonna be SOL, right? So here we go. We got the shield down to 11 turns, now 8. Ally attack right into it, and the shield comes down. Triple Gnuts go in with the A3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 right here. Here we go, last one, and we got either Soul Reap that's going to come in, or Alaz just takes the final turn. 19 turns, 1 minute and 8 seconds. My best has actually been 17 turns at 58 seconds. It is a ridiculously fun team to watch, and it definitely a just amazing team overall. I do want to say though, according to Final Campachi, this team might actually be free to play friendly, or he's thinking about answering me if it is or not.
You seriously not following? Unbelievable.
But let's take a look at the AI setup real quick. So Padrig, we're turning off everything. Round 1 and round 2, we're just using A1s. Round 3, we actually want to open up with the A3, and then he's going to prioritize his A2. The big thing with him is making sure that the speed is right, because if he takes a turn, then what you need to do is you need to come back to round 2 and you need to open with the A3 or the A2, sorry, and turn it off, right? So then it will go to his A1 and then you'll be all set. Let's talk about Alaz. Alaz, he has a very interesting setup. We basically closed the A3 and the Metamorph on round 1 and round 2. So round 1, we just want him to open it, never use it again. Round 2, we let him do whatever he wants with it, because by the time round 3 comes up, it'll be fresh for us to use it when we need it, right? So on round 3 though, here's where it gets a little complicated. You have to open up with the A1, then you prioritize the A3, right? So when he takes that second turn before the boss, he is going to go ahead and put up the counterattack along with the block debuffs. And then we prioritize his A2. Newts. This one, really nice and simple for all 3, right? We turn off the A2 and the A3 round 1s and round 2, right? Round 1, sorry, and that's for all 3. Round 2, we turn off the A3, right, for all 3, so that they all prioritize the A2. That way we AoE the whole wave down. And as for the boss, every one of them is going to open up with the A1, right? You guys can see that. And then they're going to prioritize the A3. All 3 of them are doing the same exact thing. So it's not a really difficult For the Gnuts, I think what you really just need to focus on is making sure that Alaz does what he's supposed to do at the right times. All right, so let's talk Alaz first. Now, Alaz, I have built with a lethal and 4-piece stone skin. This is my arena build, right? Let's take a look at the stats for Fire Knight. So basically 7.2k defense, 320 speed. There's 20 speed built into my Fire Knight team, so keep that in mind. 100% crit rate, 371 crit damage. And honestly, I don't care about accuracy or resistance, right? We do have the 20% ignore defense. As for relics, we do have Storm Collar on him. Basically what it does is it gives him the extra crit damage, and it does have a chance to place a stun, right, on an ad after the 5th hit. The one thing I do want to point out here is I do have some gemstones on him. I think the only ones that really matter on here are this one over here, the epic one. When using multi-skill hit attacks, each consecutive hit after the first one, the wearer deals 3% more damage and then deals 10% more damage in dungeon battles, right? As for booking situation, we do have them fully booked. Polymorph is what we did take, right? And then as for masteries, we came down, we took Helm Smasher, we took Methodical along with Bring It Down, we took Cycle of Violence along with Whirlwind of Death, we did take Single Out along with Keen Strike, Shield Breaker, and Deadly Precision. Now on the defense tree, we came down, we took Tough Skin, Blast Proof along with Resurgence and Deadly Precision. All right, so Padrig. Now with Padrig, I cared about one thing and one thing only. I wanted him in a 9-piece protection, and he needed to be at a particular speed, right? So the speed for him, you can't really mess around with it too much. You can go up, down, maybe up one, down one, right? So 305 is the speed that we had him in. You can bring him as high as 306 or 304. I haven't tested the ranges outside of this, but if he takes a turn before the boss, or 2 turns before the boss goes, that becomes a problem for us, right? So 305 speed, 65k HP, 4.5k defense, 58 crit rate, which we don't care about, 199 crit damage. You could build them with some extra crit rate, but it doesn't really matter. 291 resistance, again, doesn't really matter. And then the 20% ignore resistance or ignore defense. Again, the one thing that we really care about him is making sure that we have the 305 speed. That's what really matters. We don't care about any damage on him whatsoever. Now, as for relics, I did not have one on him. If you have something that will help you achieve that speed, go ahead. Don't use any turn meter manipulations. So if it's like, you know, plus 10% turn meter, don't use any of those because that will destroy the team, right? It will destroy the speed tune. As for skills, we do have everything fully booked. Phantom Touch is what we did take on him. Nothing else is really going to be useful. I think it's probably the best one actually for him, right? As for masteries, I didn't take any. You could take whatever you want. I mean, I'd probably go down War Master and then follow up standard, you know, clan boss masteries. Basically don't really want to mess with the speed tune. All right, so let's take a look at the 3 Gnuts. Now the first one here is built with a affinity breaker, crit rate, and feral. As for the stats here, what are we looking at? Well, for Fire Knight, we're built at 302 speed, 100% crit rate, 339 crit damage. The crit damage is a little bit overkill, right? Each one of them is always hitting for the highest enemy max HP we can, which was 589, right? 426 accuracy. Honestly, I'm thinking about dipping this down a little bit because with this team, I don't really care about the A1 proccing the freeze, right? So let's take a look at the second one here that's built in a lethal and speed. The masteries for them are pretty much all the same. So we've got 294 speed, 101 crit rate, and 296 crit damage, 5.7k defense, and 332 speed. You can see this guy actually has less speed, so it really does not matter. And moving on to the third one, which is built in a reflex and crit damage. This guy is built for Chimera, right? As for Fire Knight, 303 speed, 104 crit rate, 274 crit damage. You can see the crit damage is coming down a lot, and 272 speed. So definitely, 272 accuracy. Definitely is a good idea to possibly take out the accuracy from the builds, right? And then all of them have the 20% ignore defense. As for relics, this guy has Malefic Talon, where has 20% chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking. This guy doesn't have anything, and this guy's got Rod of Blasphemy, where it receives 2% less damage if under any debuffs. As for the booking situation, they're all fully booked. Soul Reap is the blessing that we did take. And masteries wise, they pretty much all have the same thing. We took Giant Slayer along with Kill Streak. We did take Bring It Down along with Cycle of Violence. We took Life Drinker along with Single Out, Heart of Glory, Keen Strike, and Deadly Precision. Now on the support tree, we did come down and we took Cycle of Magic. You could come down and take Lore of Steel if you wanted to. I wouldn't. I guess maybe if you give up Lore of Steel, if you take Lore of Steel and give up Bring It Down, you could do that, but anything, maximize first on trying to get as much damage on the Fire Knight, making sure that you hit the enemy max HP cap on him first, right? That said, we took Swarm Smiter along with Charge Focus and Pinpoint Accuracy. So yeah, guys, kind of a crazy team. I'm loving it. It's a lot of fun to watch, just the ads being destroyed. Thinking back to where we first had Fire Knight come out, it was so difficult, and now, man, it's just so funny to see what's going on. But we'll find out this Sunday on the podcast if Ken actually approves this team as free-to-play friendly. And while that is said, make sure to join us on Sundays, 2 p.m. EST for the Knights of Teleria podcast, where we talk everything Raid Shadow Legends. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We talk about pay-to-win and free-to-play stuff for things for everybody out there to enjoy. As always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you guys next time.